You know that feeling when you've spent an evening scrolling through endless robot vacuum listings, only to get the same vague promises dash up to 2 better cleaning coverage, perfect for homes with pets, and then you finally order one, only to find it just pushes the same crumbs around the room? I've been there, and that hesitation is what drove me to actually test a few models in the house before I even hit record. If you're watching because you're tired of buying a fancy gadget that looks great on paper but falls short when the dust settles, stay tuned. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I'm talking about the Shark PowerDetect NeverTouch Pro Combo, the AV2810ZEBK. The selling point is bold: a robot that vacuums, mops, empties itself, refills its water tank, and even cleans its own mop pad. That sounds like the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it solution, especially for pet owners or busy families who would love to reclaim a few minutes each day. But the real question is whether all those promises translate into everyday value, or whether you end up with a machine that needs more attention than it saves. First, let's talk about the day-to-day experience. The unit is about the size of a typical Shark robot, so it fits under most kitchen counters and low furniture. The first thing I noticed was the navigation. Shark's PowerDetect suite combines laser mapping with a suite of sensors that claim to detect hidden dirt and stuck-in stains. In practice, the robot does a decent job of creating a map of the space after a few runs, so it knows where it's been and where it still needs to go. In a 2-room apartment with a pet cat that likes to shed, the robot learned to focus on the hallway where the cat's fur accumulates most. That's a practical win. You get a cleaner that seems to prioritize the messiest spots without you having to draw virtual walls. The cleaning itself feels solid for a robot. The vacuum side has a decent suction rating, and the rotating brush does a reasonable job of pulling hair off low-pile carpet. The advanced edge cleaning claim holds up when the robot runs along a baseboard. The brush extends a little further than many competitors, so you see fewer missed strips. However, the mop side is where things get more nuanced. The pad is designed to be reusable, and the robot boasts a built-in washandry station. In theory, that means you never have to wrestle with a dirty mop pad. In my testing, the wash cycle does clean the pad, but the drying time is longer than advertised, about 30 minutes for a full cycle. If you're counting on a quick turnover between kitchen spills, that lag can be frustrating. The good news is that the self-refill water tank holds enough solution for roughly a month of mopping, which means you won't have to top it up daily, but you still need to empty the waste container every few weeks if you have pets that shed a lot. Now, the self-emptying feature is what most buyers will consider the headline benefit. Shark ships the robot with a base that can hold about 60 days worth of debris, roughly 2 months of vacuuming before you need to manually empty it. In a house with a dog that tracks mud, I found that the base filled up a bit sooner, about every 3 weeks, but that's still far less frequent than dragging a bag to the bin each night. The emptying mechanism is simple. A press of a button releases the collected dust into a disposable bag, so you never touch the dirt directly. That's genuinely handy for people who dislike the idea of handling fine dust, especially with allergies. One area where the Shark robot shows a hidden trade-off is noise. While many robot vacuums are marketed as quiet, the NeverTouch Pro can get surprisingly loud when it's in suction mode, especially on hardwood. The mop mode is quieter, but when the robot switches between vacuum and mop during a single run, you'll hear the motor ramp up and down, which can be a bit jarring if you're watching TV or working from home. If you need a truly silent nighttime operation, you might want to schedule the runs for when you're not in the room. Battery life is another practical point. Shark claims up to a month of hands-free cleaning, but that includes both vacuum and mop cycles. In real use, a full vacuum-only session gives you about 120 minutes of run time, enough to cover a medium-sized house. When you add mop cycles, the battery drops faster, and you'll see the robot dock for a recharge halfway through a larger cleaning job. That's not a deal-breaker, but it means you need to be mindful of the schedule if you expect a single pass to finish the whole house. Who exactly should consider this robot? If you live in a pet-friendly home, have a mixed floor plan of carpet and hardwood, and dislike the ritual of emptying dust bags and swapping mop pads, the Shark PowerDetect blend could be a time saver. The self-emptying.